Hi FMA! Last night I went kayaking at Old Woman Creek, State Nature Preserve and National Estuarine Research Reserve. I wasn't able to go all the way to the Beavers Lodge, so I thought I'd show you some pictures today. We're talking about mammals this week and the places that we will go, and I wanted to tell you about the North American beaver. It is an aquatic mammal. So here is its body. You can see its prints, its feet, and its hands. His feet are webbed because they live in the water. The hands look like ours. The beaver has this flat tail. If intruders are coming, it will slap that on the surface of the water to warn others. Gosh, it looks like a huge rodent. That's exactly what it is. It's very industrious. It uses its hands to build. Beavers create wetlands. Now we know that wetlands are very important to Lake Erie. They help clean the water. But the beavers at Old Woman Creek, they found the perfect wetland to reside. They hadn't been there since 1980s, and in 2015, we noticed evidence of beavers at Old Woman Creek. Here's a picture of Old Woman Creek when I was canoeing in the estuary. I used to work there, but now I'm just still a friend of Old Woman Creek. We found out that beavers were there because we started seeing chews on the trees, and we looked at our trail cam. You can see the beavers over here in the corner. The chews that we noticed when we were canoeing and kayaking were at the base of the tree. See that? They're herbivores, and so they gnaw on the trees. This is a cottonwood tree. That's especially one of their favorites. Sometimes they'll fell the tree, and then look at this stump. Isn't that the most amazing pattern? It looks like art. It's so perfect. You can see the wood chips gnawed off the stump on the ground. You can see that it gnaws in a circular pattern. It almost reminds me of a mandala, if anyone knows what that is. Pretty cool. So they're very busy. We noticed the beaver in the spring of 2015, and that fall, sure enough, they built a lodge. You can see a lodge over here in the estuary. It's a pretty good size. And here is our beaver. So busy. They use mud and trunks and sticks from trees, reeds from plants, and this is a lotus seed head. But yeah, they will work a lot with each other to build that lodge for their family. They do mate for life, and they keep their family, their kids around maybe a couple years to teach them how to build, how to look for food, and just to be together to help protect one another. Here again is another close-up picture of the lodge. Amazing. A lot of the lodge is underneath the water. And so here I have a good picture of that. See, when the lodge is under the water, they can swim underwater into their lodge. They have a chamber where they will eat, and they have a chamber where they will rest. Kind of like a mud room when we take off our boots and then we go into the living room to hang out. Pretty cool, huh? Gosh. So they'll build these in the fall, they'll add to them in the fall. In the winter time, they will live in the lodge. A lot of times they keep the sticks outside of the lodge for their food source all through the winter. they're pretty smart. Sometimes they'll let muskrats live with them, and then in the spring, the kits are born, and they spend all summer eating and teaching their kits, and then they repeat the cycle. Pretty cool. Maybe you're not sure what a muskrat looks like. So I have a picture of the muskrat lodge that they build. It's not as big as the beaver lodge. And you can see sometimes migratory birds, water birds like this great blue heron, will like to perch on top of their lodge. Sometimes they'll even eat their fish on the lodge. I've even seen geese lay their nests on top of the lodge. So not only is it a habitat for the muskrats, but sometimes it provides habitat for other animals. Pretty cool. Well, you're wondering what the muskrat looks like. It's also another aquatic mammal. You can see, though, it has more of a rat tail, not that flat tail like the beaver. It's a lot smaller. So cute. A lot of times you can see them swimming in the estuary carrying plants in their mouth, like the lotus. There's another mammal that lives by the beaver lodge in an old tree. Do you see its eyes? That's a raccoon. They are opportunists. They're omnivores. They will eat fish and plants. Does anyone know what this green plant is by the tree? And in the back is a brown reed with a feather head. So that's the dead plant, and this is the new plant growing. This is Phragmites. It's an invasive plant that was brought here. It's found in the estuary, but the scientists there, they manage it. But there are other volunteers and scientists monitoring the muskrats and the beavers to see if they're using these plants. Lots of studies on these plants and these animals. So there are a lot of animals that will visit the beaver lodge. One is a predator. Now, beavers used to be endangered. In the early 1900s, they were overhunted. People used their fur for coats, for hats, and their population was in danger. And so they were protected, and it was limited on hunting them. Now, they've made a major comeback. There are beavers in every county in Ohio. One of the predators, though, that they will have to be careful for, what do you think? It's another large mammal that lives on the land, and it's nocturnal, and it's not from Ohio. When we cleared a lot of our forest, it had a lot of open spaces to run on the agriculture fields, and it likes prairies. Did you guess it? What do you think that is? That's a coyote. So they do need to be careful of predators. But they get some visitors at their lodge. Another keystone species, keystone, like a beaver, and eagles mean they are very important to the environment around them. They're good indicators on if the environment is healthy or not. They are keystone species. And so a lot of times at Old Woman Creek, that's right, you'll see a bald eagle on the lodge. Gosh, last night when I went kayaking, we saw so many bald eagles and herons and egrets. We even saw an osprey. Those are migratory birds that have returned, March through May. They start to arrive to stay here in the summer. All right. So the last thing I wanted to show you, now if you want to see that eagle's nest or Old Woman Creek, you can check out the video of me and my husband kayaking in the estuary. And remember, you need a permit to kayak at a nature preserve, and your boats need to be registered. And you need to have your safety floating device or your life preserver that you wear. But one last thing, as a friend of Old Woman Creek, I really wanted to share with you this document. It's the phenological species monitoring. There are a lot of volunteer citizen scientists that have chosen to be trained and to look at different animal species at Old Woman Creek because some are declining and we want to see exactly what we have. Is their habitat healthy? Are the species populations healthy? And so you can always go learn about Old Woman Creek, but people are not only studying water quality and testing streams, but they're also observing and studying the eagle population at Old Woman Creek, salamanders, amphibians, frogs and toads, marsh birds, tree swallows, and there you go, our beavers and our muskrats. Pretty cool, huh? So of all the places you may go, maybe if you've not gone to Old Woman Creek, you would like to check it out. All right, have a great day.